evening. I think that we're going to start. Looks like people are still coming in, but I want to be able to start and make sure that everybody gets a chance to speak and be heard this evening. We've received petitions, and the Board of Selectmen have received petitions from over 100 people in town who've expressed their displeasure and concern about the ADL, the No Place for Hate program, and our participation in it. We've received petitions, and the Board of Selectmen have received petitions from over 100 people in town who've expressed their displeasure and concern about the ADL, the No Place for Hate program, and our participation in it.
In some ways, it would seem very sad to me to think that if we were to withdraw from No Place for Hate, then that would mean, well, okay, this is a place for hate, because that's not what anybody wants to think or to say. So I've been trying to think about other kinds of actions that might be appropriate to ask the national and the regional ADL to do, and other kinds of constructive things that they could do with respect to the Armenian Genocide that would not perhaps require us to withdraw from what I think is a very good and important symbolic program.
One thing I should say is I've also had several conversations with the New England branch, some people from the New England branch of the ADL, and specifically the people who run No Place for Hate. And I asked them up front, what are you guys going to do? Are you going to split off permanently from the ADL? What's the national organization going to do? And then what do you think that the regional groups will do? And I mean, they don't know. There is a national meeting in November, which was scheduled a year ago, and they were going to be talking about all different issues, and they're specifically going to be talking about this and what are they going to do, and primarily talking about the House Resolution 106. Of are they going to support it? And when I spoke to a person just this morning, she again said we don't really know what position we're going to be taking, and we don't know what position the national organization is. Now, obviously, they don't want people to leave No Place for Hate, and are emphasizing the good things that it does and that it is a brand, but they also understand that this is a big issue for a lot of people in a lot of towns, and certainly not just Armenians or people of the Jewish faith either. It's a town group and a town standing up and saying, this is what we mean by No Place for Hate, and this is what we mean by diversity and being a welcoming community. So it's a big dilemma for a lot of towns, and it's a big issue for them too.
I think that all of us feel similarly in terms of the positive things that the No Place for Hate campaign stood for. However, I think to have the background of the sponsoring organization to have in its publicity and in its information that genocide is one of the key issues, that's the ultimate end of the worst kind of hate, I think makes it very difficult to endorse a program that then where the sponsoring group has taken the stand that it has taken. So that as one possibility could certainly be, obviously the commission would have to decide that, would be to withdraw from that program, but have the Belmont Human Rights Commission make its own signs and statement as a community of No Place for Hate. I mean, one can be a community that affirms many positive things without having it necessarily have to come under the umbrella of a particular organization. By our very definition, as I understand it, and one of the reasons I agreed to be a member of the Human Rights Commission is that we as a commission could consider issues that were human rights issues for any persons living in Belmont, and obviously we could take stands for issues beyond, but that it didn't necessarily depend on our having to accept or agree or have an umbrella of another organization to do that. I think that that's certainly something to consider, is what we do as a commission that can be very positive, but until this issue is resolved in a different kind of way, that may not be the umbrella under which we want to do it.
I'm fairly new to the commission, but I agree with Connie and most of the people here. My big issue right now, and I'm not saying that I'm very well versed in what's going on. If you have an organization that states that their purpose is to defend people, you can't pick and choose. It's either all or none. And I'm having a problem with this one issue because it's as though they're picking and choosing what they want to recognize, and that's a big problem for me.
One thing I did was also looked at the ADL site and found other resolutions that they have supported. So to me, sort of the idea, this is sort of going along with what Janet had said, of that picking and choosing, is that you can't choose. It's one thing to choose completely and say, okay, we are not a legislative body, we're not going to try and affect legislation or resolutions, but to pick and choose those issues that you are going to either support or not support is again a problem.